Good communication is very important for us to have a good social life. But is communication just mere words? To understand more, watch the video. Milton Erickson was one of the pioneers of hypnotherapy and also one of the most influential psychologists of the 20th century. When he was around 17 years old, he once awoke finding many parts of his body paralyzed. He was soon diagnosed with polio and his paralysis spread all over. The doctors had given up hope and he did go into coma for 3 days, but he managed to cheat death. However, he found that his whole body was paralyzed and he could only control his eyelids. He was quarantined in the farmhouse of the rural Wisconsin and his companions were his siblings, his parents and his nurse. Since he couldn't participate in the conversation, he spent his time observing them. He soon discovered that there were 16 different forms of the expression no, all accompanied by different facial expressions. One sister saying yes to something while shaking her head to a no, and on another instance he noticed that as his sister was offering an apple to the other, she showed tension in her face and tightness in her arms, which clearly indicated that she did not want to share the apple, she was just being polite. He realized that if people said yes but really felt no, it would show up in their grimaces and their body language. He soon started noticing people's hand gestures, their raised eyebrows, their tone of voice, the way they folded their arms, and he was also fascinated by people's breathing patterns and discovered that certain rhythm meant they were bored and it was usually followed by a yawn. It was in his paralysis when he became aware of the second channel of human communication, a second language through which people expressed without them being aware of it. Milton Erickson, by drawing up his willpower and imagination, was soon able to overcome his physical conditions and was able to gain complete control over his body movements, after which he went to pursue a career in psychology and medicine and started practicing psychiatry in various hospitals. On one occasion, when he entered into his office, he found a female patient waiting for him. As soon as she saw him, she started explaining about her phobia regarding flying and how her husband wanted to take her abroad on September. He interrupted and asked her to not withhold any information. He said that he knows something about her and he asked if her husband knows about her love affair. She was surprised and wanted to know how did Erickson find that out, to which he replied, "Your body language told me." He explained how her legs were crossed in a very tight position with one foot completely tucked around the ankle. In his experience, every married woman having an affair locked up their body in a similar way. Many people thought that he possessed psychic powers, but honestly, he just spent a lot of time studying and observing body language and got access to a part of human communication that many weren't aware of. We are social beings and we need to communicate with others for our survival and success, and a lot of our communication is non-verbal. Have you heard of the 7-38-55% rule? If you haven't, this might fascinate you. According to a famous psychology professor named Albert Mehrabian, only 7% of our communication is through words. The remaining 38% is the tone of our voice and 55% is our body language. So yep, no matter how good you are with words, sometimes your message cannot be conveyed properly just because of the tone of your voice or your body language. This video is about the 55% of our communication, body language. So what aspects are included in our body language? Let us start with the most important of them all, our facial expression. Facial expression is a tool of communication not just for human beings but for animals too. It has been hardwired in our tendencies much deeply than verbal communication because it has lasted longer in our evolutionary history. Darwin claimed that we cannot understand human emotional expression without understanding the emotional expression of animals, as our emotional expression are in a large part determined by the evolution. Not only are there similarities in the appearance of certain emotional expression between man and animals, but the principles on why a particular expression occurs with a particular emotion is also applied across the species. Paul Ekman, a leading researcher in facial expression, has explained how to identify these basic emotions correctly and how to find when a person is trying to mask, stimulate or neutralize in his book Unmasking the Face. Our facial expression has the ability to convey many emotions without uttering a word. So the expressions are basically universal and expressions such as happiness, sadness, etc. are the same everywhere. Facial expression reveal a lot more information than what a person tries to convey through words. It is also something through which a person determines whether others are trustworthy or not. Just a simple smile can make you a likable person. Your eyes are known as the window of the soul, and also there is a saying that the eyes never lie. This is true because even if you learn to control your expressions, your eyes communicates whatever it has to. When you're talking to someone, you often pay attention to a person's eyes, whether they are looking at you or whether they're distracted, whether they're blinking too much or too less. If someone is looking at you while talking, it means that they're interested. However, prolonged eye contact can be threatening, or if they keep looking away, it means that they're uncomfortable or distracted. Mouth conveys many emotions too, such as lip biting might mean that they're worried or stressed, and covering their lips might mean that they're trying to hide their reactions, and so on. Facial expression isn't the only part of our body language. Next comes the arms and legs. For example, if we expand our arms too much while communicating, it means that we are seeking attention. And if our arms are too close to our body, it means we are trying to withdraw from attention. A person might cross their arms when they feel threatened and might start fidgeting when they are stressed, angry, or bored. Our posture can say a lot about our personality. For example, an open posture where we keep our middle part of the body open shows openness and friendliness, and a closed posture where we're leaning forward with our arms and legs crossed shows hostility and unfriendliness. The level of distance people maintain from each other shows the degree of closeness they feel with others. Intimate space, which is around 6 to 18 inches, is the distance you maintain with someone you're extremely comfortable with. It is the distance maintained while whispering or hugging. Personal space is the distance you maintain with your friends and your family members. The more close you are, the more higher the level of intimacy. Social space is the distance you maintain with your co-workers. The closer you are to a person, the closer the distance you maintain with them. Public distance is the distance you maintain while public speaking. The way we walked also helps us to understand a lot about people. Milton Erickson spent a lot of time observing how people walked. He noticed that there was this empathetic walk where there was heaviness in the step. There was the fluid walk by lazy people and the meandering walk by people who are lost in thoughts. Extra swaying in the hip and elevated head showed confidence. He noticed sudden changes in people's walking style when they were excited or nervous, and all this gave him endless supply of information regarding a person's mood and self-confidence. Did you know that in a lot of settings, when people want to know who we are, they pay a lot of attention to our nonverbal cues. Our nonverbal communication provides with most of our first impression, and once they are formed, it is very hard to change these judgments. Body language is a vast topic on which people spend years and years of their lives to study them. Once we get an idea on how to tone down our nonverbal cues and also start to understand the little signals people provide while communicating, we get access to a whole different level of communication. If you like this video, don't forget to click on the like button, and if you want to see similar videos and not yet a subscriber, don't forget to click on the subscribe button. If you want to ask or talk anything regarding this video, feel free to leave a comment below, or you can also contact me at my email address.